What is going on, everybody? Paul here, coming at you with that crypto coffee update. You know what it is, the news, conferences, events, and many other things. Of course, sources, tons of sources, all aggregated together for you by yours truly. And of course, we got the coffee. This time I got little guinea pigs on my mug. Isn't that adorable? Look at them eating a little cucumber. So yeah, join me for that simultaneous sip. Great stuff, fantastic, energizing. Bean juice. What a world we live in. All right, let's jump into the news. Why you're here, right? All right, so the EOS node offers, one of the EOS potential block producers is offering users financial rewards for votes and reigniting the decentralization debate, as can be seen here. This is something we touched on very briefly in the last Crypto Coffee update, the discrepancies between centralized systems and decentralized systems, what that means, and what is involved in such a discussion. And this is something that we're going to open up very briefly here as well. This is something that would be really like a 30-minute presentation, PowerPoints and slides and all that, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to briefly touch on this. Essentially, one of the criticisms against EOS is the notion that you have two confluencing forces, cooperation and competition. Cooperative competition can result in some amazing things. Recently, Ethereum has donated a lot of Ethereum Classic to the Ethereum Classic development team. The reason being because they received, obviously, in the fork, a generous amount of Ethereum Classic from that fork, but also because they want to see Ethereum development succeed, and both systems are very closely related. So that's a great example of competitive cooperation in one instance. However, many times competition and cooperation, they don't necessarily go hand in hand, because if you are benevolent to your competition to a unreasonable degree, they will outcompete you and you will lose both money, customers, time, and hard work and effort and all that. So realistically, competition in a capitalist system, all things spared, essentially allows for the delivery of the best quality services at the lowest price possible, respective to market forces and that sort of thing, regulation, etc. However, when you have a level of cooperation that is more profitable than competition, it stymies this depressive effect on price and inflating effect on quality, thereby meaning that a certain group of individuals who are in control of this system receive the greatest disproportionate benefit at the expense of the rest of the network. Again, this is just one potential criticism of EOS. Let me know what you think below in the comments. After all, I've attracted some EOS fanboys and haters recently because of my tacit analysis of what's going on in the system and how I see it. But suffice to say, difference of perspective is super important, and getting that sort of thing out there is really, really just critical to having a civilized debate about what's going on. These are Chinese block producers, essentially, that want to give out, you can see here, stable EOS revenue. And you can see they really hired a great PR firm. Now, Start EOS is still gonna stay with you, our most important and best friends. And we gonna share the proceeds with you and make through the difficulties together. Now, I'm not saying everyone needs to speak perfect English. It's a mammoth of a language and the hardest one to learn by far. But if you're going to be openly bribing individuals for votes, maybe you want to have a more a higher level of decorum for your PR, right? It just from my outside perspective doesn't necessarily look great. But again, that's just one dude's perspective. I'm just a guy who knows a good bit about the field and shares information with everybody. So what do you think, dear user? Let me know. After all, you are my most important and best friends. So let's go ahead and jump into another article. ASUS partners with Quantum Cloud to offer gamers zero-effort GPU mining. This is really cool. We've talked before on this channel about the difference between ASICs and GPUs and CPUs and how that entire thing is played out. ASICs are application-specific integrated circuit, which is hence why we call them ASICs, less of a mouthful, and they are dedicated to one specific thing. You have ASICs mining Bitcoin, for instance, and your gaming computer, as awesome as it is not going to outcompete an ASIC simply because your gaming computer has to be optimized to do other things, including show you what's going on, have nice graphic processing and all this cool stuff happening. ASICs, not so much. They focus on one task and one task alone. Now, many cryptocurrencies see this as kind of an alienating effect, especially for casual miners who can no longer interact with their network in a meaningful way other than as a user of the currency, no longer mining. So with that in mind, what ASUS has done is partnered with Quantum Cloud and allowed users to utilize a seamless GPU interface. So there are cryptos out there that say no ASICs. We hard fork away from those and you're not going to build one. We won't allow it. We want individual users to keep mining, whether that is a detriment to the network, a benefit, whatever. Doesn't matter. We're not here to discuss that. What we're here to discuss is the fact that that still exists. There are still coins that allow for GPU mining. And what this allows for is a no-fuss GPU mining. So ASUS, the actual huge hardware company, is going to be working with this company to make it a seamless a seamless interaction, essentially. Previously, you'd have to go through all this command line stuff, just go through typing out various points here and there, which isn't too difficult for tech-savvy users, but obviously, if just an average individual likes a coin, wants to help mine it, wants to help secure the network, and they're not able to do that without adding in certain lines of code themselves, that could be an alienating effect in and of itself and dissuade individuals from getting involved. So this is really cool to see. You see careening GPU sales, so that kind of makes sense that they would jump into a new market. But really cool stuff. Let's go back into kind of my area of expertise, which is geopolitical analysis, specifically within the crypto space, seeing what's going on. The Islamic Development Bank Group has dived into blockchain with a Tunisian partner. This is something that's really interesting, particularly for me, just because it's such an interesting way to see how Islamic finance functions. It's all Sharia compliant, meaning it to an extent has to be gold backed as a currency. And the fact that Bitcoin was recently ruled, Stellar Lumens specifically, the first one, actually, I shouldn't say Bitcoin, Stellar Lumens was ruled good to go, it's halal. No big deal. You can use that. All good. It's really amazing to see a relatively untapped market for cryptocurrencies breaking into the limelight, specifically with this new Tunisian partner. Keep in mind that, I always forget Coin Insider gives us a little rave every time we go down. But yeah, suffice to say, Dubai recently partnered with Pundi X, so the city of Dubai is going to be integrating some cryptocurrency things. So it seems this is starting to mushroom out in the Islamic world. So really neat to see. I'll leave this below for your perusement, for your interest as well. Of course, everything we talk about here in the description is going to be below in the description, so you too can do your own research. That's the most important part of this, guys. Empowering y'all to do your own research, figure out what this means for your own life, and how to best fit it into your portfolio analysis. Can I say that? Portfolio analysis? Well, yeah, you got to analyze your portfolio before you make decisions. Boom, cobbled together, my own phrase. All right, so Ohio is pumping $100 million into blockchain startups. Keep in mind, just a few Crypto Coffee updates ago, we talked about how Ohio is accepting for businesses, first off, taxation in Bitcoin. So that's super cool. Kind of a novel thing, but as stated, they're going to be letting businesses get involved with Bitcoin and pay their taxes in it. This is going to be a win-win situation for one, considering the digital traceability of Bitcoin, the low-cost medium of transferring this wealth from one entity to another, and it gives the government an idea of how they may interact with this sort of thing in the future. So a great proving and testing ground. But you can see here, two startups that are based in Ohio as well are looking to further expand Ohio's rapport in the cryptocurrency space by offering $100 million to early-stage blockchain projects. So that's really cool. You can see one of them is, the funding plans were revealed at the Blockland Solutions Conference in Cleveland, Ohio by Jumpstart CEO Ray Leach. So definitely great things happening up there. Hopefully can help to revitalize some of what's known as the old Rust Belt. So definitely need some new industry there. Next up in the institutional world, we have Bank of America and Amazon. Again, Amazon's there. They have been awarded with crypto patents. Now, Bank of America has 50 blockchain-related patents, so make no mistake, this has been something that's been happening for a while. As stated, Fidelity started getting into crypto in 2014, doing their research, and started mining in 2015. So the idea that these large institutions are disinterested in crypto because of the low price, in my 2 cents, they're probably the ones pushing these prices lower to allow for more time for these kind of implementations to be rolled out to where everything is in order before they have another bullish price run. So yeah, that's my kind of hot take, Paul's hot take. But what the real world's hot take is, not that I'm not in the real world, Bank of America definitely physically has 50 patents. So whether or not you can physically see a bull market happening or not, we're definitely in a bear right now. They're holding in their hands 50 blockchain patents. So when this sort of thing starts to blow up and mushroom out, as I've stated, it's could potentially go very quickly, especially from an institutional perspective. Oh yeah, and again, I mentioned in the last Crypto Coffee update that $33 trillion is held by the second largest wealth management fund in the world, and the blockchain space is less than 200 billion right now. So not going to say that, oh, we can only go up from here and we're headed towards the moon, but just know that this space over the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years has a lot of room to grow reasonably. All right, next up we have, how are we doing on time? Doing great. Okay, next up we have South Korea revealing plans to tax ICOs in cryptocurrency. That's something that's not too surprising. After all, South Korea has been very forward thinking into how this kind of technology can be implemented in its little peninsula, and it's doing a great job. I say little peninsula, and perhaps that's a bit condescending considering the South Korean economy is one of the largest and most technically developed in the world. Here's a quote: cryptocurrencies are a new phenomenon, and so there is no internationally agreed regulatory framework. Furthermore, there are such lingering problems as the market overheating and investor protection, big one there. Therefore, we need to be careful in building the regulatory framework. This as well comes on the heels of a G20 agreement that the corresponding nations that attended will be working on regulating these digital assets. So it's perhaps no surprise that this announcement comes at such a time after all of these nations met in Argentina just over last weekend. So next up, we have GM filing their own blockchain patent to manage autonomous car data. So this is very interesting. As said, the Rust Belt is ailing and needs some new kind of potentially high-tech jobs, and this seems to be exactly what GM is looking at. Now, considering General Motors did announce that they were set to cut 15% of salaried workers and close plants in Michigan, Ohio, and Maryland, it may be kind of a reinvention strategy for the ailing auto manufacturer. But suffice to say, this is something that perhaps would be more up Tesla's alley conceptually, one would think, but GM is a huge mammoth in the auto industry and has been so for many decades. So they definitely have some research and development prowess behind them. They know what direction the industry is largely headed. Arguably, bailouts. But yes, that's neither here nor there. Let me know what you think of this. Auto manufacturing is not my area of expertise, but I find it really fascinating. There's so much metrics that go into it, and with cars being the largest export of the nation of Japan, it's a huge business. So let me know what you think below in the comments. For now, let's go ahead and get into the happenings of the day. For December 5th, Wednesday, we have the AI Summit kicking off in New York, the Digital Asset Investment Forum happening in DC, FinTech Connect is kicking off in London, Bit Conf is happening in Santiago, Chile, and that's it for Wednesday, December 5th. For December 6th, Thursday, the only thing we have going on is the Blockchain and Bitcoin Conference in the Philippines, a rolling conference that goes from nation to nation to spread the word about cryptocurrency, blockchain, Bitcoin, and everything involved with it. So, with that in mind, that's it for December 6th, Thursday, and for this Crypto Coffee update. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Seriously, your support means the world. I appreciate every comment. I love the conversation, and just being able to share this information, really, it is a fantastic experience. So let's share this experience. Share with me anything you find interesting. After all, sharing is caring, and sharing knowledge is the way we make the space the best it could possibly be. But with that said, my name is Paul, signing off. We are Cryptide, and remember, the tide is rising. But not GM stock price. Let's hope they can get that blockchain thing in order.